お嬢様。
Hello my lords and ladies, today I wanted to talk about the upcoming 6.2 patch from the perspective of a trial/lower level player. What I feel like I can add to the conversation is that of a player who has yet to take the plunge into a sub, and if 6.2 will encourage new players to join, or for trial players to continue. I'm rehashing some ideas I had in my community post that I made when I had COVID, but who reads community posts, am I right? So let's get into it. The obvious place to start out is with the biggest addition with 6.2, Island Sanctuaries. I think that the best way to approach this is cautious optimism. Seems kinda cool. I think one of my bigger hopes of allowing everyone to do gardening have been dashed. Instead, it will have its own unique ecosystem of gardening. So to those wanting to craft special minions or get those mandrakes for rare crafting mats, you're probably out of luck. This also means those who don't have access to chocobo stables still won't be allowed to train or dye their chocobos, which kind of sucks. I don't like how such a feature is limited to those with housing. And to those who are worried that this will be Final Fantasy XIV's version of WoW garrisons, I certainly don't think it'll be that bad. One, it isn't directly tied to a zone that will obviously never be used outside of one expansion. Two, it is customizable. I swear, who in Blizzard thought it was a good idea to only allow human and orc architecture for garrisons? Three, they have already said that they will be watching and updating, and Final Fantasy XIV has a really good track record for updating content. Plus, with how many people seemed hyped for this, there is a good amount of pressure on the Final Fantasy XIV team to see that this comes out of the other side with a positive reception. Just when it initially comes out, it might not fulfill the staggering high expectations and hype that have been thrown at it. So reel in those expectations of Final Fantasy XIV Animal Crossings. The rewards look very promising. I am glad that Square Enix is doing what I suggested in my potential rewards video. When I saw the Mandragora mount, I was happy. But when I found out that they were also using some of the skins of the Royal Mandragora Court, I was super ecstatic. I'm happy for all you Onion Prince and Eggplant Knight stands out there, but where is my main man Tomato King? Glad to see a hairstyle has been added as well. And if this is just another way to dump rewards into the game with upcoming patches, I am all for it. And while I know Island Sanctuaries will be locked behind the Endwalker MSQ, it would have been a smart move if they allowed a limited version of this to be accessible in the trial. Similar to the Ishgard Restoration. You can level up the island, right? Well, for a trial player, they should cap the level before you can fully upgrade your island. Let potential subs get a taste. It could be a whole new eye-opener and really rake in some players. If they find out they have to pay to try it out and have to go through the hours upon days of getting through Endwalker to unlock it, it might be a potential turnoff, especially for a game mode that is so different from the rest of the game. And I'm not saying this out of some selfish desire either. 6.2 will likely be the patch that I will finally end my trial experience and purchase a sub.
Oh my god!
Congratulations, Square Enix. The FOMO of missing out on the Archfiend set worked. Even though you promised that trial players would be allowed back into PvP, I can't chance losing out on that gear. Watch it be in the 6.4 Moogle Treasure Trove event. And speaking of PvP, I was kind of disappointed that they have yet to reveal the new PvP season rewards. They said they wanted to expand the rewards, so I'm really curious to see what we are going to get this season. More cool armor? Emotes? Maybe even mounts? When are we going to get that preview? Okay, I think I should talk about the Hildebrand controversy. So apparently there's some drama surrounding that you have to do the Hildebrand quest line to get relic weapons in Endwalker. people thinking that doing the Hildebrand quest is a little too much for a relic. As someone who enjoys the Hildebrand quest, it's not even my particular style of humor, I just enjoy different pacing and tone. It's a nice break from the MSQ. I don't have an issue with this at all. As a lower level player, I once again feel like the higher level players have been spoiled by the more recent expansions. Now again, I'm ignorant, so maybe once I complete the Stormblood relic, I'll be just like these players, never wanting to go back to a more quest-style progression. But from my lower level perspective, I just feel like people need to suck it up and do it. Or don't do it. Relics, from what I understand, aren't even really that viable until their last iteration. Skipping cutscenes is already an option, and the ARR Hildebrand questline has a ton of rewards and low-stress trials. I am still wondering why the Heavensward Hildebrand quests are featured quests. They don't unlock anything as far as I could tell. Let's move on to the variant/criterion dungeons. Sounds amazing. While I like many of the set pieces of the Final Fantasy XIV dungeons from what I've played in A Realm Reborn and Heavensward, for the most part, they are too easy. The only difficult part comes from trying to pull as many mobs as possible and then AoEing them down as quickly as possible. It gets boring, so having a more difficult style of dungeon that takes more strategy with a more intimate group sounds really cool. Smaller group Savage content just means it'll be easier to form groups. It appears there'll be a mount reward, which is nice. The easier version of the multiple paths with multiple endings sounds fun, but it raises some concerns. I am worried that some paths will become more favored over others. The Final Fantasy XIV community has a reputation of, I just want this done quick. That could mean that some players who want to see less convenient paths will get kicked from parties just from wanting to experience more content. I have done enough Palace of the Dead with matched parties to know that even taking 30 seconds to get an extra piece of Horde is enough to get you kicked from groups. So if you're running these dungeons, try to keep an open mind and don't be a sweaty speedrunning tryhard, okay? Focusing a little more on the lower level stuff, the update to the Steps of Faith look much improved. But what I am really happy about is that you get to use what I call your Heavensward party in dungeons now. Ysael, Estinian, Alphino. I have regret that I didn't get to party with them as I ascended Somal. And everybody's favorite boy is in the vault. I really feel like they kind of missed the mark with duty support in A Realm Reborn. I wish they had more named characters helping instead of just random adventurers. Why not have Alianne and her grandfather help you for the first dungeon set? Or even Edda and her group before, you know. And I gotta talk to you about those armor and weapon sets. I can feel the hype all the way from Heavensward. Yes. This is a big draw. I am glad that Final Fantasy XIV isn't oversaturated with particle armors, but the fact that there are so few is also a little discouraging. Like, no offense to the elemental armor, but it's not really my thing. Now these are cool. Of course, my Dark Knight is going to be extremely jealous of the Reapers who get the purple equals win back halo. You know, even before these images were released, I thought that these kind of effects would be really nice as fashion accessories. But yeah, people will see these armors and weapons and definitely be drawn to the game. I just hope they haven't set the bar too high for future sets. Already, the other armors released in this patch have been completely overshadowed, even though I think that the crafted sets look pretty good. So, what do you think of 6.2? What are you looking forward to the most? If you are new to Final Fantasy XIV or haven't even played yet, does this make you want to join? Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subbing to the channel, and I'll see you in the world of tomorrow.